Thinking of moving from Illinois to Nashville, Tennessee? In this video, we're going to cover the differences between Illinois and Nashville. We're going to cover the cost of living, the job market, the economy, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get into it. And welcome guys, my name is Casey Gibson, a realtor right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And if this is your first time to the channel, what we do is we talk about everything to do with living, breathing, eating, sleeping, playing, working in Nashville, Tennessee. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see our future videos about Nashville. And we are honestly getting so many calls, texts, emails, messages from people all over the country that are looking to move right here to Nashville, Tennessee, and we love helping you find that perfect spot. The only way that we can do that is if you give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email days, nights, weekends, anytime, whether it be to plan your move to Nashville or just to ask some questions and get some information. Again, call, text, email, days, nights, weekends, and we got your back when moving to Nashville, Tennessee. First, let's talk about the population between Illinois and Tennessee. Tennessee's population in the state is going to be 6.95 million, whereas Illinois has 12.67 million. Nashville, Tennessee has 1.27 million people, and it's growing by the day. We have 80 to 100 people a day moving right here to Nashville, Tennessee. Now the median income in Nashville is going to be $27,798 for a single individual, and Illinois' median income is $30,019. To give you some perspective, the US average is $28,555. But it's not all about the median income, right? The cost of living plays a huge role in where you're gonna live. So to give you an idea of this, and we're gonna go deeper into it, but if you look at the average cost of living across the United States and index it at 100, it's got the cost of living index. Nashville actually comes in under that at 98.5. We're talking about Nashville, the city. Now Illinois, the state, that includes cities like Chicago and all the rural areas as well, comes in at 93.4. So Nashville's cost of living is below the national average, and it's less than places of comparable size to Nashville. Now let's talk about property taxes, which is extremely important when looking to move to a new area, especially if you're looking to buy a home in that area. Tennessee's property taxes are actually quite low compared to the rest of the country. We have some of the lowest property taxes here, and according to smartasset.com, in Tennessee, the average property taxes paid annually is going to be $1,775. Now this could be a little higher if you're living right in Nashville in the city. It could be lower if you're living further outside of Nashville. This is just to give you an overall idea of what you'll be paying. To put that into comparison, in Illinois, again, according to smartasset.com, property taxes on average paid annually are going to be $7,175 compared to Tennessee's property taxes of $1,775. And this is based off of an assessed home value of $250,000. So this just to give you an idea. These numbers aren't set in stone, so I highly suggest doing some research on the area that you're looking to move and the cost of the home that you're looking to move, the assessed value, and what your specific taxes would be, so that you have a more clear picture. So how about sales tax? Well, Tennessee has a 9.3% sales tax as opposed to Illinois' 8.7%. However, the income tax rate in Tennessee is 0%. We have a 0 state income tax, whereas in Illinois, you're gonna have a 5% state income tax. So add those two together, on average, Tennessee is gonna be less, so you get to keep more of your money. Next, we're gonna talk about utilities. And for this, we're looking at payscale.com. And because of the way it's set up, we're looking at Chicago, Illinois compared to Nashville, Tennessee. So if you live in a different area of Illinois, then the numbers are obviously going to be a little bit different, so you can check that out, but this is where we're getting the information. According to payscale.com, Nashville, Tennessee's average energy bill is going to be about $150.73, and Chicago, Illinois' average energy bill is going to be $151.23. I'm going to put that up on the screen for you, and you can also see on there the phone bill in Chicago, Illinois is about $161, where the phone bill in Nashville, Tennessee is about $160, so there's not a lot of difference between those two numbers. Now, one area that you will see a pretty big difference is the gas prices. In Nashville, Tennessee, the average gas price, according to payscale.com, is $2.62, and the average gas prices in Chicago, Illinois are going to be a lot higher at $3.30 per gallon. Now, obviously, these numbers can change and go up as different things happen. Again, this is just to give you an idea. I always suggest, and I'll say this probably a couple more times, I'll always recommend you to do further research and don't take what I say for 100% written in stone. So definitely do your own research, and you can reach out to me if you think that something may be different, and I can do some research for you and see if that is the case and get you the correct, accurate information. Now for the next, we're gonna look at the cost of food to give you an idea of the different prices of food in Nashville versus Chicago. Again, we're using Chicago just because of the way payscale.com is set up. It just makes it a little easier. So it could be different depending on where you're moving from, but I'm gonna put that onto the screen where you can see some average prices for some staple food items that you might get in both Nashville and Chicago, and the prices for those to give you a good idea of the difference in prices of food. Now, healthcare costs are an area that you'll see a pretty big difference in Chicago versus Nashville, Tennessee. I'm gonna put that on the screen for you so you can see some of those average prices, but you'll see that Nashville, Tennessee has, on average, lower healthcare costs than that of Chicago, Illinois. For example, a doctor's visit is an average of $90.45 in Nashville, and in Chicago, that's going to be $112. The dentist visit is about $20 difference in Nashville versus Illinois and Chicago. Okay, so we've covered the cost of living, but that's really not the only thing that you should be looking at when you're looking to move into a new area in a new city. For instance, earlier we talked about income, and just because a place has a higher average income doesn't mean it's necessarily cheaper to live there or more expensive to live there. The cost of living has a huge impact on that. So does the economy and the job market, unemployment rate. All of those factors not only are things to consider, but they're things to look at that could project where the economy is going and if it's going to be a good move long term for you. Now let's look at unemployment rate. Tennessee's unemployment rate as a state is going to be 6.4%, where Nashville's unemployment rate is 3.2%, and compare that to Illinois' unemployment rate as a state at 4.2%. Now, I gave you the city and the state, one, to give you a good comparison between state and state, but also to show you how strong Nashville's economy is, because since our economy is doing so well and the cost of living is so low, we have a lot of people continuing to move here. We have businesses continuing to move to Nashville, which is creating jobs, which is extremely important, because if the cost of living is low but unemployment rate's going out the roof, that's not a good sign. But the fact that our unemployment rate in Nashville is low is a very good sign. Now, speaking of the job market, in the past year, Nashville's job market is actually up 2.4% compared to Illinois' job market up 0.6%. And over the next 10 years, our job market is expected to increase in Nashville by 48.3% compared to Illinois' projected 10-year growth in their job market of 26.5%. And put that into perspective, the US average is 33.5% job market growth over the next 10 years, putting Nashville well ahead of the average and very well ahead of Illinois. So we've talked about the income, cost of living, and the job market. Let's talk about the average price for houses in Nashville versus Illinois. So the stats I'm going to give you are specific to Nashville, and they're being compared to the state of Illinois. So it's going to include not only Chicago, but all the smaller areas as well. So just keep that in mind. But the average price for a single family home in Nashville, Tennessee is going to come at $350,000, give or take a few $1,000s depending on when you're watching the video. Definitely, if it's been a while since I've uploaded this video, I recommend checking it anyway, or just reach out to us, ask us, we'll give you the updated information. Now compare that $350,000 to Illinois' average single family home price of $232,000. Like I said, whenever you get outside of Nashville into more of the suburban areas and rural areas, that average price is going to go down. We're talking about the average price inside Nashville. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're like me, I don't want to only know how much the average price of the home is now. I want to have a good idea of what that price is going to be in the future. So let's look at the appreciation over the last 10 years in Nashville, which is going to be a positive 61.5%, which is huge. And that's a good sign. Now, that may seem a little high, and it could put some fear into people that there could be a bubble, but some of the things that we've already went over, the low cost of living, the low unemployment, the strong job market, and the job market continuing to be strong and growing in the future, that is a good sign for us not being in a bubble. Now, in reality, nobody ever knows what's going to happen, so there's that, but those are very good signs. Compare that positive 61.5% appreciation over the last 10 years in Nashville to Illinois' appreciation of 3.7%, and you can just tell how crazy that number is. Right, so over the last 10 years, average home prices in Illinois have increased by 3.7%, and Nashville is 61.5%. I mean, that's like 20 times the appreciation in these homes. All right, guys, so we've talked about a lot of things, a lot of differences between Nashville and Illinois. A lot of people wonder what the weather is like in Nashville. And the good thing is we get 4 true seasons. We get a fall, winter, spring, and summer. The summers get hot, but the main thing that gets bad is the humidity. It gets really humid here in the summer, which makes it feel a lot hotter than it is. Fall is a beautiful time of the year. Winter, we get some snow occasionally, not really that much. Usually when it snows, it doesn't stick very long. If it does snow, usually schools will be called off. And we also have pretty bad allergies in Nashville, in this area in general as well. So if you have allergies, you're gonna have them here. And there's some people who don't even have allergies that move here and get them. To be honest, I've never had allergies until this year. This year, for about a whole week, I was dying of allergies. You could never have had them before, and all of a sudden get them just like that. That's something to know, especially know whenever you're looking to move to Nashville. The traffic in Nashville is pretty congested. You're gonna have your general rush hour. If you're coming from somewhere like Chicago, it's gonna seem like nothing. I mean, it's not anywhere near Chicago's traffic, but if you're coming from a smaller town, then you're gonna think it's pretty congested and pretty busy. But it's nothing compared to places like Chicago, New York, Atlanta. It's not there yet. Now, with so many people moving to Nashville, the traffic is gonna probably get more congested in the future. Something to know, something to be prepared for. Now guys, we specialize in helping people move and relocate here to Nashville, Tennessee. We love helping you do it. All you gotta do is you gotta reach out via call, email, or text, and we would be more than happy to help you find your perfect spot or just give you information, answer any questions. You can call us, email us, text us anytime, days, nights, weekends. We want to hear from you. Just send us your questions or post them down in the comments, any questions that you have. We would love to help you. The number is on the screen, it's in the comments, it's in the description. So definitely reach out. We cannot wait to hear from you and help you make your move to Nashville, Tennessee. So until next time, we'll catch you later.